Hi everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Thank you very much for joining me during this July series. Thank you very much for everyone's support. My name is Warren Bennett. I don't think we're going to have Trev today, he's asleep inside the house. In this video I'm going to show you why Rory McIlroy hasn't won a major in the last 10 years. Now obviously he's been unlucky a couple of times, he's been runner-up quite a few times, but these runner-ups I think has come from places where he hasn't been in contention, and it's kind of, he's boosted himself up the field from a bad start. And obviously the last US Open he played, he missed a couple of short putts. I'm going to give you my take on why I think Rory's struggling a little bit at the moment, and most importantly what you can take from it. What ingredients of Rory's swing that you can layer into your swing as well. But I think Rory needs a change, and I'm going to tell you what that is. Okay everyone, so thanks very much for joining me for another video, and just for the record, Rory McIlroy is an absolute world-class player, but what is stopping him getting over the line? I think it's a combination of a few things. Now this isn't going to be like a Rory bashing, but I think he's playing to win majors. He's not playing to win a normal PGA event or a DP World event. I don't think he gets nervous for those type of events. I think he's up for the majors only. Well, he said that anyway. In the majors, and especially in contention, let's say first round as well, where I'd say the pressure's not the most because he's not in contention, but I'd say he knows if he gets off to a bad start, he's going to struggle to get back in contention, which he has done over the last few years. He's got off to a terrible start, hasn't he? And then come back. Rory's that type of player when he's got the wheels in motion, he's absolutely firing all cylinders and he's very hard to stop. Now I think he is the best in the world right now, but I think he's got a technical flaw, and I think under pressure, when the pressure's the most, especially at the Masters, when he wants to win that last kind of one for his career Grand Slam and other majors, I think his technical fault comes out a little bit. Like I said, it's not winning those DP World events or US Tour event when he hasn't got that pressure that's acute, so he can go off and win those. I think his flaw comes out more when he plays the majors. That's proven in many times over the last 10 years. When you think about it, he's played 40 majors since he's won the last one. Now he's come runner-up, like I said. Obviously he just missed a couple of putts in the last 3 holes. The US Open, fair enough. With the talent he has and not winning a major in the last 40, there's something wrong there, isn't it, in my opinion. Now obviously this is not my nature to be a Rory basher because I'm his #1 fan. But I think there is, like I said, a technical fault. So I'm going to put a few of his swings on to the side here while I'm chatting and hitting the shot. I think he needs to do a change that Tiger changed his swing, Dustin Johnson changed his swing. I think he needs a position at the top of his backswing and halfway down to be a little wider. Now I think he went to Pete Cowan, stopped to see his coach, his long-term coach, went to see Pete Cowan. Now I think Pete Cowan was getting him to do some sort of drill, split hand, which is kind of getting him wider. I think that's wrong, by the way. And what comes up to me is that pitch shot, 9-iron pitch shot he hits between 80 and 100, let's say 30 yards. So how many times have we seen that pull of his? He really pulls it, and I'll show you a swing that a friend of mine videoed. I think it was Thursday or Friday. I think it was Friday last week at the Open. Albeit it was windy, but you can see there, I think it was 120 yards out and hit that horrendous pull. Because I believe, as you can see a few swings here on the screen, I believe halfway down his downswing, as you can see from the behind view there, for the person that creates that much speed, I think he's what's called too deep. I think the middle of his hands are behind his right shoulder. Now obviously he squares that up nicely, and when he's squaring it up and the timing's on, wow, he's 5 stars out of 5. But when the pressure's on and when you have to kind of be really dialed in, obviously in the majors, I don't think you can have a hand and arm position that's deep like that, as you can see on the video. Now these swings are from this year. Obviously they're not all the swings. I don't know what type of shots he's hitting, but I personally think that he's got a hand plane that's too deep. Now you can see someone who changed their swing, as far as I know, Dustin Johnson. Obviously he's got some kind of individual parts to his golf swing, but this main change that I saw and I have heard, an arm plane that was quite deep for someone who creates obviously the same amount of power as Rory probably, to someone who has a hand plane that's outside and fades it. So I think Rory should have a natural fade to his swing instead of a draw. And it's the same with Tiger. I'll show you a swing of Tiger of 10 years ago, I can't remember exactly when it was, to his now normal swing. You can see, if I pause it halfway down, you can see his left arm now, as you can see, is kind of out in front of him compared to Rory's. I just want to reiterate that Rory is world class, but I think he needs a fundamental change. I think he needs width to his hand and arm plane, so he can, now the club can kind of do less and he has to kind of square it up easier from there, so he can hit this little baby fade, especially, let's say, with a driver. Leave him with a driver. If he wants to sweep it slightly from the inside, fair enough. But especially with irons from 7 iron, 8 iron downwards, and especially pitching as well, he definitely needs a more wider arm plane. He needs to get his hand plane right out in front of him so he can now come across and get some shallowness to this plane. As you can see there from that freeze frame, I know it was a wedge and it was an 8 iron and whatever he was hitting, 9 iron, so it's going to be a bit steeper obviously, but you can see how kind of steep and inside this swing was. Little 9 iron. My advice to him would be, right, whatever backswing you want, kind of throw your hands out wide here, get as far out as possible, and then from here you're going to feel like you're going to come across the ball and hit that little fade. Out and across. Really get him to kind of feel some shallowness, feel the hand out, instead of dropping this hand in. Obviously great for driving, but I'd say for iron play coming into the ball, I think you need to take that spin off. You cannot have, in my opinion, your hands deep behind your right shoulder coming down. I think there's obviously exceptions to the rule, but I think you need kind of width and you need time for this club to come down on a more neutral path for him. Like I showed you a few videos ago. Out, really feel like now you have to come across the ball. Obviously, and then when he layers his normal swing, it's going to be a kind of a neutral shot there. Now, I'm not going to say this is right because obviously there's some faults there as well, but you can see Dustin Johnson's evolution from 2008 through to 2018. You can see the difference of his arm plane there. For someone who creates so much speed, you have to have, I think, a more wider left arm plane, and I think that's what Rory needs as well. You know, he's running out of time and he's too good, absolutely too good to not win. I think he's the best player in the world, no matter what. When he's firing, or I think even when he's not firing all cylinders, he's still the best in the world. But for some reason, he blows himself out of the tournament, and then sometimes he comes back to try and save himself, but it's too late. Get your hands out in transition and come round and just hit hundreds and hundreds of these shots. Have a little bit more of an in and over swing, instead of what he's got is an out and around and inside swing. That's what I mean. You club golfers who slice the ball, Rory's swing is absolutely perfect to look at because he's got like a swing plane, an arm plane that's wide, and he really sucks it in behind him, doesn't he? Beautiful for you slicers. And then you can come from the inside. So I'm going to show you an iron swing, and you can see the club inside. That club head should be down his right forearm there, personally. So from there he can just turn through the ball without having any corrections. To me, you can see the club is underneath his right arm. Now, he might be drawing the ball, but looking at that shot, and obviously I'm guessing here, looking at that shot and looking at that hole, you've got water on the right, looks like a half an island green he's hitting to. Well, I can't believe he wants to start the ball right there. Might be, I might be wrong, but I think his golf swing is a little bit like that anyway, a little bit inside and under. Obviously he squares it up beautifully, don't get me wrong, but I think he needs to make a slight fundamental change to his golf swing, and I think he will be more than halfway there. Because remember, the golf swing wants to swing on plane, and I don't think Rory's on plane. I think he's under plane, and then he has to make a correction. Obviously he's got world-class timing, and if he played round your home course in an exhibition, for instance, you would be thinking, oh my word, there's nothing wrong with him. Why doesn't he win 4 majors in 1 year? But as we know, golf isn't like that. And when the pressure's on and when you're shaking inside, you need this golf club to be your friend. And you need this thing to be working with you without any corrections, as much as you can anyway. Obviously, golf is not a game of kind of, you're not going to master it, but you need to get this position. Come on, Roars, you need to get in this position where your hands are out, your club shallow, work it through. Take that roll, take that kind of save, out of his swing. And I've been seeing it for a while now. I don't think he's been performing anywhere near his best, and he's still up there. And I think if he can get in a position where his club's not really doing a lot of work, it's actually just coming along for the ride, and he doesn't have to kind of manipulate really under pressure. And then he can just turn through the ball without any manipulation of that golf club. Because once it gets sucked inside, once he gets quite narrow in here, there has to be some correction. Obviously he does it fantastically well, but I think he can do it better. I think he does need to make those fundamental corrections, I really do, because 40 majors now, and he must be sick of it, that's for certain. Well, I heard a story after the US Open that he changed his phone number. So to me, that he is absolutely fed up. He doesn't want to hear from anyone, no matter where you are. And I always said it previously, even with my swing, the gravity and the effect under speed of what that club has hasn't changed. Hasn't changed from Harry Vardon to Bobby Jones to Ben Hogan to Tiger, whoever. So you need to be in the right place. If he can get that club in the right place, I believe he will go on and win more majors than what he's won already. And I see that with Tiger's swing now. Unfortunately, he's got his leg problems. And that technique he's got in the 2019 Masters and from now on in, wow, how neutral is that? He just now hasn't got the physical capabilities to get through a round, I don't think. But his technique is, I think, the best I've seen him in his career. And I think that can be the same for Rory as well. Okay, everyone, so thanks very much for your support. And I just want to reiterate, like I said at the start, I'm not here to bash Rory McIlroy. He is an unbelievable world-class player, probably the best player in the world right now. Obviously not in rankings, but I believe he needs to make that fundamental change to be able to kind of break through that barrier. Because, you know, like I've always said to myself in life as well, if you want to change, you've got to make the change. What did Einstein say? The definition of madness is doing the same things over and over again and expecting a different result. I think something like that anyway. Now, golf is really hard. I'm his biggest fan and I wish him well and hope he can bounce back and win that Masters next year. Okay everyone, so a little bit of a different video today. Hope everyone's well, hope everyone's able to get out on the golf course and enjoying some sun like we got here in the southeast of England, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day everyone, wish you well on and off the golf course, and we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully Trevor will be here tomorrow. Thanks everyone, cheerio.